Alright everyone, so today I wanted to go over all the different methods to get Sacred Shards in-game without having to make a purchase. So these are going to be free in the sense that you don't have to spend money, however some of these are going to take a decent amount of effort. So let's get into it, and the first thing that I want to talk about is important. I put it at the top of the list because this is time sensitive, meaning you want to work on this one first if you have multiple options, because if you don't do this one by a certain period of time, you're going to lose that Sacred Shard, and that is going to be your events and tournaments. Now, events and tournaments, they don't really have Sacred Shards all too often, I'm going to be perfectly honest, but they have had them before in the past, especially really big champion training events. They have had Sacred Shards before. Events and tournaments that involve summoning, you don't even have to go out there and summon a bunch of ancient shards. You can actually end up using things like mystery shards to get the points for the rewards. So this is why stockpiling your resources in Raid Shadow Legends is always going to be beneficial for situations like that. So keep an eye not just on what events we have running, but also take a glance and see how much effort it's going to take in order to complete the events as well as the rewards. And if you see a Sacred Shard as a reward, kind of think to yourself, is this going to be worth going after for the amount of effort that it is going to take? And I will be honest again that a lot of the events and tournaments that do have Sacred Shards, they're not easy and they are going to be quite a bit of a grind, but that is an option available to you without having to spend money. Now the next one is a bit simpler, and this is going to be going into the quests here, and that is every single month of completing your daily quest, you will quite simply get a Sacred Shard for free. You'll also end up getting a Void Shard as well. The weeklies, when you end up completing these, you'll end up getting an Ancient Shard, so you're looking at about 4 of these every time you get a Sacred and a Void Shard, and of course you've got your rewards for your dailies. Just make sure you actually claim these, don't forget, because each day that you forget is going to prolong how long it takes for you to get your Sacred Shard, but this is probably going to be the easiest, most reliable, and consistent method to get Sacred Shards in Raid Shadow Legends without spending money, but there are still plenty of other options out there. Next up is going to be your progression rewards. I'm not talking about daily login rewards yet. It's this thing right here. If you guys have been level 60 for a while, you probably forgot about this, but you can look forward to some free stuff, including a Sacred Shard, when you do end up getting to level 60, so that's nice right there. Make sure you guys claim these if you haven't been. Pretty simple one. Now, speaking of the daily login rewards, now from my perspective, you guys will see that I do not actually have Sacred Shards available to me because I am at the 100 plus days of login rewards. And while there is some really nice stuff, including a bunch of new champions, there aren't actually any Sacred Shards in these set of login rewards. However, if you guys are still a newer player to the game, you'll have a different set of daily login rewards before you get to this one right here. And there are, I believe there's at least one Sacred Shard in those earlier, newer player daily login rewards. Just keep in mind that this is not consistent. It's not going to be every 30 days or every certain period of time. Once you get those newer player login rewards that includes that Sacred Shard, you get directed to these login rewards, and unfortunately, as of right now anyway, we don't have any Sacreds available in this one right here, so... Alright, another thing that I want to mention that right now does not directly have a Sacred Shard, however, this is very easily possible to change in the future, is the Battle Pass. Now, I say this because the Battle Pass has a seasonal system just like in a lot of other games, and we are actually getting closer to the end of Season 1 right now, so I'm guessing in the next week or two we'll actually be teased what the Season 2 rewards are going to look like, and both in the free and even in the paid Battle Pass, surprisingly, this season's Battle Pass did not actually have a Sacred Shard, and I'm pretty surprised as well. Even for the paid Battle Pass to not have a Sacred Shard was very strange. I know a lot of people were asking about that, but who knows, in Season 2 there might be a Sacred Shard here, even for the free one. We have Ancient Shards and other stuff that's really good in the free part of this, but unfortunately, we'll just have to wait and see, and the future will always change the rewards for this Battle Pass system depending on, what they decide to offer for the current season. I would still keep an eye on it nonetheless, even if there are no Sacred Shards, because a lot of these rewards are very, very nice, even for the free version of the Battle Pass. Alright, next up on the list, this is a really big one, especially to those of you guys who are newer. Definitely a great way to get at least a couple of Sacred Shards, and that is going to be your campaign progress rewards. These stars right here, when you get your 3 stars from your missions, you will end up getting points, and then you end up getting rewards. Now, you guys didn't see the early rewards here, but there's a whole bunch of stuff even earlier on, and I know that you get a Sacred Shard for, I believe, Hard and Brutal. I think Normal is a Void Shard right here. There's one available to you for Nightmare as well, so that is there, but I am still actually, I think, 1 or 2 stars away from getting this one right here from the very last stage. So again, this is one of the ones where the hard of the brutal one should be pretty easily attainable, but the Nightmare one, that's going to take a bit of work even for a more advanced player. Some of those Nightmare stages are quite frustrating, especially the very last one. So they are there though, and this is a great way to not only get those couple Sacred Shards, but also some really nice rewards for your accounts. And then, speaking of the progress bars, very similar to the campaign, there is also one available for Faction Wars. Now, this one is really tricky, though, because the actual Sacred Shards that we have available to us are not until you really get super far down the line. You can see here that even in the 350 to 505 stars, you don't actually see Sacred Shards pop up yet. It's not until you get to the 500 plus stars. 655, we have 730, 756, and then 819. Now, they are there, they are available, they don't cost money, but, you know, this is really going to be one of those long-term goals where, especially if you're newer, not going to be very realistic for you for a long time, so I would not prioritize this out of everything I've talked about so far. There's much better places to get those Sacred Shards before you really work on this, but, you know, for endgame players, they're out there. Alright, next up on the list is your missions and your challenges. Now, this is very, very important. Again, not only for your Sacred Shards, you should always slowly be working on progressing towards this for a whole bunch of really awesome, useful stuff for your account. Now, I've already completed these, so you won't be able to actually see, but there are certain points in the actual progress missions where you kind of get to a roadblock where you have to wait for certain things to unlock, like the different keeps. So make sure that whenever you guys can, you're working on this. It should just kind of be on your little list of things to check every single day to see if you're kind of at one of those points, and you will be able to get a Sacred Shard as well as other really useful stuff for your account while working on this. And the challenges, it's not on my screen right now because, again, I've already completed them, but you'll see an icon with challenges and very useful stuff that you will also want to be working on for your account. Alright, next up, this is a really, really big one, a very important one, probably the most important thing on the list here, and that is going to be your clan rewards. This is probably going to be the best way to get both Sacred Shards and also your tomes for people without having to spend money. Now, the problem with your clan boss rewards is the rewards from the later difficulties completely outscale the rewards from the earlier difficulties. You could still get lucky and occasionally get some really nice stuff, but you're really looking at, you know, the Nightmare rewards kind of being at that place where you can somewhat reliably count on getting, you know, a Sacred Shard every couple of weeks or so. It really depends on your luck as well. You know, sometimes you'll get more than one of them in a week. Sometimes you'll probably go a couple weeks without getting them, but you're looking at fairly consistent Sacred Shard and Skill Tome rewards from this. So this is why, another very important reason, the clan boss is going to be one of those things that you really do want to be working on. It's going to be one of the things where you're going to see consistent progress, as well as you increase your damage, you'll be able to move up the difficulties, get better rewards, and this is going to be consistent. You can count on these rewards every single day as long as you've got your clan boss keys, which refresh every 6 hours. Make sure you're in the right clan as well. And especially for people who do not spend money on the game, these clan boss rewards, including those Sacred Shards, are going to be massive for your account. So I can't emphasize this enough. Definitely going to be an area of the game you are absolutely going to want to put a good amount of priority into. And then the last thing on the list, unless I forgot something, which would be tragic, but there's always a possibility, but this is something that I think a lot of people have surprisingly not really thought of, and that is your referral rewards right here. Now, there is 4 Sacred Shards that are available to you through this. It is going to be a major, major grind if you do decide to go for these Sacred Shards, but it is completely free. You don't have to spend any money. This is something you can work on when you're out of energy on your main account or whatever, and you do not actually have to rely on other people to do this. There is a way to actually grind this out yourself. It can be a little bit tricky, but it is possible. As you guys can see, almost a full year ago, I decided to get up to level 20 for the energy and the experience boost, but, you know, if you decide to go for it, you're also looking at some Void Shards, 6 Epic Books, and 4 Sacred Shards. If you guys do decide to go for this yourself, though, very importantly, just make sure that whatever account that you are working on shows up here, because in a lot of cases, you have to not only reinstall the game in order to actually get a secondary account on here, but you have to reset your cache and your settings to really kind of allow this. But it is an option there. And another great thing about this is, as I mentioned, it's one of those things that you can work on when you feel like you've already kind of done the things that you can on your main account without having to do, like energy refills or whatnot. So if you're free to play, a lot of stuff you can get out of this. I would say it's worth it, at least for the early rewards. And if you really feel like going for it, 4 Sacred Shards available to you right there. So anyway, that is everything that I can think of. Like I said, there is a possibility I forgot something, which would be tragic, but for the time being, you're looking at approximately a total of 10 to 20 one-time rewards for Sacred Shards. These are ones that are not going to be consistent Sacred Shards you can look forward to every certain period of time. And the reason why it's 10 to 20 is because a lot of the, Sacred Shards kind of in that second half of the list were not easy, especially for newer players. So they're really going to be long-term goals. You can't really expect to get a lot of those right away on your account, but there are still a lot of them that you can, and you're also looking at a consistent 1 to 5 Sacred Shards every single month from your monthly quests as well as from your clan boss rewards. So that's why I spent a lot of time on that clan section, is because I would say that if everything in that list, that's probably the thing you want to prioritize the most when it comes to Sacred Shards and rewards for your account. So that's going to be it for the video today, though. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did enjoy this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to help out, tossing a like means more than you can imagine as well, so thank you to all of you guys to do that. And we're getting really close to 200 videos, so more should be popping up on the screen. If you're interested, feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.